Good evening, everyone. My name is Stacy Turner. I'm so thankful that you are here with us. I know you have a gazillion things you could be doing tonight, so I want to respect your time and get going. We have some great information to share with you. Some of the things I have learned over the last 20 years that have made a huge impact on my family's health. And you're going to hear from a couple of my friends, maybe somebody that invited you today, and just learn how do we really eat healthier. I mean, people say that, but what does that look like? So I'm going to share my screen here and we will get going. So I want you to just think about what brings you here tonight. Maybe just a friend of yours invited you to come. Maybe you have a specific health concern you're worried about. Maybe you're just looking to eat healthier. Maybe there's somebody in your family that you're concerned about their health. I know what brought me to the table all those years ago, 20 years ago, was my son. He was a picky eater. I could not get him to eat more than just canned green beans as far as vegetables go. I was concerned about that. He was sick a lot for a stay-at-home kid with me, and I just was kind of unsure why. And so I went to this trade show and there was a table there with all these fruits and vegetables on it. And she was telling me you could get fruits and vegetables in a capsule, which I'm going to tell you about in a few minutes. And I was like blown away because we have a lot of a lot of cancer in our family. And my husband had had pneumonia 4 years in a row. We were in our early 20s. I thought we were healthy. And so I was really interested in learning some more. I wanted a better, toolbox to be able to make better choices, but I just didn't even know where to start. So, we come to a meeting and different things, different issues, different concerns, but I just want you to kind of pause and think about that. Like, why am I here? And, what are you hoping to learn from this evening? So let's just talk about why are we unhealthy? 1 in 4 people will die of heart disease in America. 1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men will develop cancer. 1 in 3 will have diabetes by 2050. 1 in 3, that's crazy. 1 in 5 children is obese. I can think of like one chubby kid in my class when I was younger, but now the majority of the class is overweight, which is just insane. And these are pre-COVID health statistics. I know they have changed since then. And Dr. David Katz says that our children are harmed by poor diet more than by exposure to drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined. And yet we spend a lot of time talking to our kids about those things and warning them, but we're really not talking much about that poor diet. And what does that even look like? Because you could ask, 5 or 10 different people and they would have a different, story of what it means to eat healthy and what that looks like. And so, I just want to bring you some clarity of what does that look like? What are we talking about when we say, healthy eating? So food quality is definitely decreasing. Look at that list. The majority of what Americans are eating is processed foods. And in fact, 50%, that's like half of what they're eating every day is processed, either in a can, a package, something that has been pre-cooked or pre-made. It's really everything that's in the middle of the grocery store. So when you're thinking about buying groceries, try to stick to the perimeter of the grocery store, because that's where we call God food, the real food that will spoil and go bad within a couple of days without refrigeration. That means bacteria is actually able to grow on that food, which means it's a food. If it doesn't mold or sprout, toss it out is what we say, because that really means it's further away from the real food. And as much real food as we can possibly eat, the better. And just staying away from these processed artificial colors has a drastic impact on a lot of kids, not all kids, but kids that have behavioral issues, a lot of anger issues, depression, even in young kids, can be linked especially to red food dye. I have an amazing podcast you guys can listen to if you want that, and really talks about those food dyes, those artificial colors that impact. I mean, it's almost like a poison to their brain. And so again, just thinking about, food quality, eat as close to the real food as you can and less of that processed food as much as possible. And tonight we're really going to focus on fruits and vegetables. And this quote was from Time magazine in 2003. The news isn't that fruits and vegetables are good for you. It's that they are so good for you, they could save your life. And I keep that quote in there. That was 20 years ago. This was really the quote that woke me up. And I started thinking, if that's true, if fruits and vegetables have that big of an impact, am I really being intentional about getting those into our diet every day? And the answer was no. But as I learned, up to 75% of diseases preventable through good nutrition. Preventable, much less reversible. I didn't know that. I just didn't even know that. Like, I knew we should eat fruits and vegetables, but I didn't understand the power that they had in our bodies and the ability to heal and reverse disease and then to prevent it in the first place. And so as I learned that, I was really encouraged. I thought, okay, well, that's something I can do. I can be proactive about getting more plants into our diet. And that's why we need to eat 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. Thinking a serving size is slightly smaller than the size of your fist, imagine eating 7 to 13 servings of those every single day, fresh and raw whenever possible. And if you're an athlete, you need to be eating even more. So why so many? I mean, really, that's a lot, 7 to 13. So it's 5 to 7 for kids, 7 to 9 for women, and 9 to 13 servings a day for men. And we're talking to prevent disease, not just to survive, because I don't think, most or any of us on this are actually eating that many. So we're alive, we're surviving, but are we really thriving? And are we preventing those diseases? And we need to eat that many because produce is picked way before the nutrition fully develops. It's transported thousands of miles away. I mean, we live in the desert. There's not even a food market here, like a farmer's market. We lived in Alabama before, and I could get so much fresh produce. I don't even have that ability here. It's definitely trucked in from other places. 90% of Americans just don't eat enough of those servings. Only 10% are getting the recommended. And we don't eat from a variety of a rainbow. We tend to stay with the same 5 over and over again. So a lot of times people know that they're not getting the nutrients from the food they need. So they tend to rely on a multivitamin versus getting the nutrients from the food itself. So if you think about, where do vitamins come from? I never thought about that. I just took the prenatal the doctor gave me. I didn't think about it. But a vitamin should come from the fruit or vegetable themselves, because that's where vitamins are from fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are made of vitamins, phytonutrients, plant chemicals that make up that whole food. And there's over 10,000 phytonutrients, those micronutrients that are in one apple, just one apple, where a multivitamin is going to have maybe 30 at best. And those are fragmented, isolated, they're chemical renditions of a nutrient found in a fruit or vegetable. So it's always better to get your nutrients from a food source. So to actually eat that produce and get it from the plants themselves. And research really shows that isolated vitamins, like when we're talking about Flintstone vitamins or a 1-a-day vitamin, they could actually do more harm than good. And they are not shown to reduce disease. They're not shown to prevent disease. I didn't know that. I just took that multivitamin, but I know it made me nauseous. I would get constipated from it. I would stop taking it. Then I would feel guilty and I would start taking it again. But I never felt better taking it. It was always out of a sense of the mindset of, I know I'm not getting the nutrients that I need from the food I'm eating, so I have to rely on this. But I'm telling you, there's definitely a better way to bridge that gap from what we may be eating to what we should be eating every single day. And so how do we get those nutrients from a variety and just a wide range of colors of the plants every day? Well, this is what I was told about at that table. And we lived in South Florida. This was in Fort Lauderdale. I did not know this lady, but she was telling me that I could get fruits and vegetables in a capsule or a gummy. And really, guys, I was like, what? That's a thing? Like, that seems so simple. And that really just makes sense. And I was just asking her more about it. And again, just starting to learn about that information. And I saw a picture like this that had all of these bright colored fruits and vegetables on here. And I'm not opposed to eating peaches. Like, I love peaches. but I like peaches off of my parents' tree in the summer when it tastes like a peach and it smells like a peach. I don't like one from Walmart in the winter, right? Same thing for tomatoes. I'm not opposed to all these. I'm just not eating them every single day. And I tend to rely on those same 5 and kind of get stuck in a rut. So to be able to get the dark reds, the deep purples, the bright greens, the bright oranges, that variety, the more color a fruit or vegetable has, the more nutrients it has. I don't know if you know that. And so getting a wide range of those colors into your diet is super important. But like berries are expensive. A little thing of blackberries is almost $5 just for a little thing. A family of 5, I could divide those out and everyone got 3 berries. It just didn't make sense when I could buy like a big watermelon and we could eat off of that for a couple of days and everyone got their fill. So I just found that I wasn't buying a lot of those dark purple berries and, just not in this variety. So, just looking at that thinking, what would this do for my body if I could get this in every single day? Would my body be healthier? Would my kids' bodies be healthier? So we're going to watch this video real quick. This is a very, a question a lot of people will ask is how can they get all those fruits and vegetables into the capsules? Like it's one thing to say, oh yeah, I can get fruits and veggies in a capsule, but like, how do they do that? So this 2-minute video is going to explain this to us.
The fact that we actually grow a lot of these products very close to the factory, we can preserve the freshness. They can be harvested and processed within just a couple hours of when they come out of the field, as opposed to maybe some of the produce you might buy in the store where it has to go through trucking and shipping and a lot of different steps to be available to you. These processes that we do are done just within a few hours of when the product's harvested.
From the farm through our plant, the fresh product actually only takes about 6 hours. When the product arrives at our farm processing plant, the product is tumbled, washed, and cleaned. The cleaned product is then laid out over the processing belt and slowly moved through sub-zero air. When we're doing that, we're able to freeze the product and preserve all the freshness of the product just as if it was from the field.
The sooner you can lower the temperature and control the temperature, the more you can lock in the nutrients.
When Juice Plus is looking for nutritional quality, color is very important.
Most people associate a dark red cranberry as a sign of the ripeness of that fruit.
Freshness is very important. There's a very short amount of time from when they're harvested to when they're frozen, locking in the freshness and nutrients.
While we're producing the Juice Plus powders, they have very high standards for the purity of their powders, what can go into their powders. They also have tight controls over their supply lines. They know which farms it comes from, and they have a good control over that. Also, when the products are produced, they have certain steps throughout the process for safety and purity. My favorite part of working with Juice Plus is knowing that people are benefiting from what we're doing. We put a lot of work into how we grow our ingredients and how we process them so that they're safe and high quality and nutritious. It's neat to see the results of that by seeing the customers that use them and seeing their lives improved from some of the healthy ingredients and produce that we process.
So that's just a short video. If you want a little bit more detail, just let us know. But I love that everything goes into that. I don't know if you guys saw that the whole orange was being pulverized, and it's not a juicer that takes the juice into a thin juice and dumps out all of the pulp and the seeds and all of that. All of that has, like, even the peel of an orange has more vitamin C than the inside of the orange that we typically eat. So everything goes into it, the seeds, the skin, all of it. It's pulverized into a thick slurry. And then that slurry is dried under a slow process, but a low temperature, quick process, but a low temperature. So as he was like running his hand along all of those powders coming out, they mix the orange powders and then the cranberry powders and the, all of those, and it's juiced on premise. So like they said, it's within hours of being picked to getting into that powdered form. And just through the years, they've been able to really hone that process in. And it's been 30 years that Juice Plus has been on the market. It's not a brand new product, which is something that I really appreciate. Now, this plant-based omega is a newer product. It was about 6-7 years ago, I think it was, that this company asked, it was actually like 10 years ago, asked us, what else do you take outside of the fruit and vegetable capsules that you wish was in a plant-based form? And by and large, it was omegas. Most time people get omegas from a fish source. And so we were looking for a plant-based source and it was hard to find it. And so the company spent a lot of time really honing in those ingredients and making sure that they were something that was sustainable, that they could get in large amounts, that could be grown well without herbicides and pesticides, and wanted to completely skip that fish. And they found that fish get their omegas from the algae that they eat. So we went straight to that algae. Omegas are really important for your heart, for your brain, for your joints, for your skin, and for your eyes. And this isn't just omega-3s like a fish oil would be. This is omega-3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. So it's a broad spectrum of 5 different types of omegas that have different properties. Like some of those omegas really target inflammation. Some of them prevent inflammation. And really, we've seen a wide variety of things when people take these omegas. For myself, I just felt like I was more calm when I take it. I'm able to handle things better. I don't feel like my emotions are as high or as low, just kind of more even out. Like I can just handle the frustrations. So I really appreciate that. And so did my husband. But also for skin health, when we're orally taking it, it improves our skin with better hydration. But even putting it on my face, it's part of my morning routine where I mix it with my favorite lotion. I put that on my skin and much more hydrated. Like I said, we live in the desert where the wind seems like it's always blowing and it's super dry. I felt like my skin was aging so fast. And these omegas have really made a difference with that. And it's excellent for sunburns, even mosquito bites, eczema, cradle cap, like topically on your skin. It can make a big difference too. So if you're taking an omega, you might want to consider adding this, with our plant-based omegas instead. We also have our Juice Plus Complete Shake, which is a whole food smoothie. And this is an easy way to get some really great fiber and protein into your diet through 20 more plants. So we're already talking 30 from the capsules and now 20 more in this plant. It has a great smooth texture and an excellent taste. It's a great for breakfast or a lunch replacement or both. And you're going to hear from 2 people here in a couple of minutes that will share their experience with using these complete smoothies. It was part of my kids' diet growing up. This is what they had for breakfast. And it was easy. 3 minutes, I could make a shake. We could be out the door. And I knew I was starting their day off with something really good. And this to me is something that really actually saves us money because it is a meal replacement for $2.53. I mean, I don't know how else I could get a meal for $2.50 and to be able to have it on the go. So we'll hear from some others of different ways they use it. I made protein balls the other day and I just kept them in the fridge. I'll just eat one if I want a little snack during the day. And there's something in here that's called fructooligosaccharides, which is a prebiotic for your intestines. This fiber helps the good bacteria to be able to grow and it feeds them well, as do those fruit and veggie capsules. So you can see the list of ingredients there, and just thankful to have this easy way to flood like 20 more plants in that actually taste good. So Juice Plus is unique. It's food. It's not a multivitamin. It has a food label, and I really appreciate that. It's non-GMO ingredients. It's NSF certified, which is a third-party validation that proves what is in the capsules is on the bottle, and what's on the bottle is in the capsules and nothing else. They make sure there's no herbicides, no pesticides, no molds, contaminants. We tested ourselves, and then this NSA third-party validation does the same thing. And this is the most researched brand name nutritional product in the world that's on the market. We have now 48 peer-reviewed medical journals. These are gold standard research studies that have been done at leading hospitals and universities around the world. This gold standard means that it's randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled studies, and it's tested on the product itself when human takes it. And that's really an important aspect of it. I didn't care what these produce powders may do to rats or in a test tube. My kids were not not either of those. I wanted to know what was the benefit. If I was going to invest my money and my time and 2 decades now of taking it, I wanted to know what was it doing, what was the impact that it had. And this is just a tiny portion of these studies. Guys, if you like research, if you really want to know more about this, please reach out to the person that invited you here today. We have some amazing videos that actually go into these studies a little bit deeper, easy to understand, but that will just give you a bigger picture. I'm just going to do a really quick overview just on 5 benefits, but there's so many more that I'm not even going to list. So lung health, better inflation of your lungs, and better oxygen flow in those lungs. That was even people that were smoking. So that was interesting. Healthier skin, better hydration and thicker density of your skin. Systemic inflammation reduction. So systemic inflammation is whole body inflammation. Inflammation shows up in 1,000 different ways and is a precursor or sort of a marker for disease. The higher your inflammation rate is, the higher your risk for disease is overall. But inflammation is going to show up as like achy joints in your hands, arthritis in your knees and your hips, bleeding in your gums when brushing and flossing. Those are both ways that inflammation shows up. Skin health is also like poor skin health can be an inflammation caused from that, gout, lots of different ailments, as we would say, even having to be on high blood pressure medication and cholesterol and that sort of thing has to do with inflammation in your body. So when you can reduce that number overall, that is a really positive benefit. It's less stress and pressure on your body, so it has more time to heal and repair versus always fighting that inflammation. With speaking of those heart studies or the results of that, there was one study where there were healthy individuals, healthy men, that they measured their brachial artery before eating a high-fat meal, and then they fed them a high-fat meal from McDonald's, and then they measured their artery again with an ultrasound machine. And what they were looking for is to see, was there a detrimental effect from this high-fat meal? And what they found is there absolutely was, and their blood vessels would go into sort of like a spasm for up to 6 hours after eating that high-fat meal. And so they wanted to see what would be the impact of including plants into their diets through these capsules and flooding their body with this Juice Plus powders. And so they had these guys into 3 different groups: a placebo group, a fruit and vegetable capsule group, and a fruit vegetable berry capsule group. And so it was a double-blind, placebo-controlled crossover study, which means nobody knew who had what capsules. They were opaque until the very end, and the statisticians were the ones that looked at the numbers and figured that out. And so what they found was those that were taking after, I think it was 28 days of being on the study, so it wasn't even that long that they had these capsules. They brought them back, measured their artery, fed them the same high-fat meal, and then measured that artery again. Those that had the placebo pretty much stayed the same. Those that had the fruit and vegetable capsules had a 62% reduction in that spasm or that narrowing of the artery, 62% less. Those that have the fruit, vegetable, and berry capsules had 98% less restriction. So almost no restriction at all. And they were really shocked. And what they found is the reason that happened was the lining in their arteries had less inflammation. And so it was able to withstand that effect of the high-fat meal without overreacting and going into that spasm. It kept their artery elastic like it was supposed to because it was a healthy artery. So imagine that's not even something that we can see. We don't know what the inside of our arteries look like. And to have that sort of benefit after less than a month, that was a game changer to me. When I learned of that study, I was so encouraged by that because that is what prevention looks like. And then on the immune system studies, what we find is about 80 days after taking Juice Plus, your immune system comes back to a balance, which is really important for somebody who has an overactive immune system. So that would be autoimmune disorders, or an underactive immune system, like my husband, who had pneumonia 4 years in a row, right? Like he couldn't even fight off the most common cold. So we found over time his immune system balanced out after taking Juice Plus. And so much so that in 20 years, he's never even had an upper respiratory infection since then. And it was constant before. So when I say that I got more hours back in my day, that I didn't have to take a nap because I had more energy, my husband says he got his life back. And it was really true. It even affected our marriage as he was less stressed and just less less tired and felt better, he came back like he was happy again, and we were laughing and just enjoying life. And so really, Dr. Du Bois says there's nothing else available any place in the world with or without a prescription that is clinically proven to do what Juice Plus has been proven to do. That is such a bold statement. I mean, if you really think about it, but it's true. I haven't found another company that has passed 2 studies, and theirs are done on a test tube or on mice. When you take a pharmaceutical drug, that pharmaceutical company does the research. They choose which ones are printed. And then there may be 2 studies at best, and they just have to show a marginal impact on whatever disease process, some sort of reduction, and they can have that published and then put that drug out to market. I mean, it's a process, of course, but it's not at leading hospitals and universities doing that research. It's in-house research. So that's very different. This research really sets us apart. And this is why I can share it with anyone. It's not just my experience. It's not just the knowledge I have gained over the 20 years. And it's not just the stories of people that I've collected that I've been able to help. It really goes back to this research that proves what we're investing in is really investing back in us. And, I love that this company is a very generous company. So what they found is that parents are notorious for saying, okay, I'll get this for my kids. I want them to have more fruits and vegetables, but they don't take care of themselves. I mean, think about it. Why does in an airplane, the steward has to tell us every time, if there's a change in cabin pressure, put the oxygen mask on yourself first and then help the people around you? Because we, as parents, especially as moms, we want to help everyone else and then we'll get to ourselves last. But I say, if mama ain't healthy, ain't nobody healthy. We're the ones that buy the groceries. We're the ones that prep the meals and offer the snacks. It really falls, a lot of that health and nutrition weight falls to us as moms. And I didn't feed us unhealthy on purpose. I just really didn't know. So once I was armed with this information, I had an obligation, I felt, to my kids to eat healthier myself and to feed them well. And this company understood that. And so they don't want parents to ever choose between themselves or their kids. So much so that kids age 4 all the way through 25 can get free Juice Plus with an adult's order. I mean, who does that? That's like 21 years of free product for a child if they start at 4 years old, as long as that parent or grandparent is on Juice Plus with them. That's really insane. And here's some of the results that they found just after 1 year. This was about 3 million kids and parents had been filling out information on these surveys. What they found is after a year of taking Juice Plus, 60% of these kids were missing fewer days of school. They were taking fewer over-the-counter or prescription drugs. They were drinking more water, visiting the doctor less, consuming less fast food and soft drinks, and they were eating more fruits and vegetables. Some of those things are absolutely money back in my pocket that I'm getting free for them. Taking less medication or prescription drugs, going to the doctor less, I definitely saw that. My kids are now 17, she's almost 18, 19, and 21. I've taken them to the doctor a handful of times their whole life, not having to pay those copays. I was sick as a child all the time with strep throat, really bad dental health because of those antibiotics, stomach issues. It was just always something. Even in my teens, I had bronchitis multiple times. And so I haven't seen that with my kids. We reversed that through nutrition. And this was a big aspect of that. So I love the generosity of this company. They can get either the fruits and vegetables or the capsules fruits and vegetables in a gummy or in a capsule, whichever they like, as well as for the adults. And Juice Plus really is an affordable option. So that trio, that's the fruit, vegetable, and berries, $2.60 a day. I mean, if I sent you to Walmart with $3 and I said, come back to me with as much produce as you can, how much produce could you come back with? I guarantee you it wouldn't be much. It wouldn't be that much. And so to be able to get those 30 that you saw on that screen for $2.67, I just don't know how else I would be able to do that. And then the omegas are $1.08 a day. Again, it's free for kids. The shakes being $2.53 a serving. I mean, even just one frou-frou coffee, as we call it in our household, one of those, if you're spending $4 even on that, that's a crazy price. They're typically $5.88 at Starbucks for one drink. I can get a shake, my capsules, and my omegas for around that same price. day after day after day, and one of my kids gets it for free. So Juice Plus really is an affordable option. It's something that actually does pay me back. And we have so many great resources for healthy living. And so I want to open this up and have Courtney share with us. One of the things that we have to share with you is called the Shred 10. And this is just one program to help you shred bad habits for 10 days at a time and really embrace 10 really good habits, such as sleeping more hours each day, drinking more water, eating more fruits and vegetables, and cutting out foods that really cause inflammation in our bodies. So Courtney, can you talk with us and share with us a little bit of your own story of taking these capsules as well as doing the Shred 10?
Hi, yes, I can do that. Thank you so much. So about 5 years ago, I was introduced to this whole food nutrition by my friend Jen. I was having a severe reaction. I thought it was hand, foot, and mouth because I went to the doctor. It was like little bumps and pustules showing up on my hands and my feet and my head. And my friend Jen was like, "Hey, I think you might have something else that's for kids. That's not something that adults get." So I was like, no, the doctor said it was this. But I was skeptical, and I got pregnant with my son. It went away. And so I was like, yay. But it came back when I had him. And then I called my friend up again, and I was like, yes, I'm going to try this to help reduce this inflammation in my hands because it came back so bad. And it helped. Within a month, I took the trio, the vegetables, the fruit, and the berries. And that helped so much that I was like, oh my gosh, I just have to keep doing this so it will reduce my inflammation in my hands. So that was 5 years ago. And I've been taking it ever since. And it has definitely helped alleviate that inflammation. I do attribute that to reducing, the gluten and the dairy, all the things that the Shred 10 has to offer. So adding more plants, eating a more plant-based diet, not total plant-based. It makes me crave the healthier option. It has changed my habits. I have felt like I lean towards the healthier option. And it has just had a chain reaction towards reducing the inflammation, creating healthier habits. And I have seen that's my hand actually, it was a month ago. I was eating the dairy and the gluten, and I wasn't as strict as I used to be. So it started getting more inflamed. And then this is me right now. I literally took that picture in today, and I've been doing the Shred for about 6 days now, hard, going in all in. And that's me today. And I'm so grateful that my friend Jen told me about this, and Stacy, I'm so thankful that you told her about this. So yeah, that's my story with the Shred 10 so far.
That's awesome. And I think what we love about this is it's a doable program. And we always say, you're the driver of your own Shred 10 bus. You get to decide how much of this you want to adapt and bring in, and then how much, maybe you're not ready to do all 10 things, but you're like, okay, I'm going to really focus on drinking more water or eating more fruits and vegetables or getting really good at taking my Juice Plus. And then each month we do it for 10 days and you just add in another thing the next month. So really going all in, you'll see a big difference. Day 4, you're like, oh my gosh. And it has to do with detox. You're reducing the strain and the inflammation foods that cause the inflammation. And so your body's able to really start repairing and detoxing at a different level. So it's a gentle detox, and we really have seen some great results. And that's incredible with your hand already to be able to see that change. And so maybe try putting some omegas on that too. Just open the capsule and see if that helps as well. So that's just one of the tools that we have to be able to offer you. Another one is called the Tower Garden, and this is a way to grow your own produce indoors. And this produce can grow year round if you have the grow lights inside. That's the home version right here. And you can grow this. It's about 5 feet tall, about 2 feet wide. So it takes 90% less space. It uses 98% less water. There's no soil being used in this, with 30% more yield, and you get produce 3 times faster. You also know that it's safe. There's nothing on it, pesticides or bacteria, and it really has a very different taste. Chris, are you available to share with us some of your experience with the Tower Garden?
Okay, I think I'm unmuted now, right?
Yep, you're unmuted.
So I got a Tower Garden maybe a little over a year ago. It was in February, and I haven't. Well, I do buy store-bought salad, but only when I'm in between towers, and so I usually plant my whole tower all together. I don't. I start everything from seed now instead of buying seedlings. And within 4.5 weeks, I'm picking from it and eating. And it's lasted about 5 months, sometimes even longer, so you're picking. And I don't do a lot of the fruit, anything that's got has to be pollinated. So most of my stuff is either a lettuce, Swiss chard, just mixed greens. And I don't really even write down, some people have little place markers to see what it is. I don't even know what I have. It's all different types of greens and Swiss chard, and I don't even know what I'm eating half the time. I just chop everything up and put it into a salad. So I had a salad tonight. My neighbor Darla, who's here with me right now, she came over for dinner and we had salad. I'm always learning, which is kind of cool. I just realized that in the summertime, and I don't know if you knew this, Stacy, you don't need as much nutrient. And my salad all my greens were kind of wilty, and it said you don't need to put as much mineral blend in the summertime. So I cut that in half, and within, when I added more water, and within a week, everything was crispier and crunchier. And it doesn't change the flavor at all. It just makes a softer leaf. So it's kind of cool. I'm still learning, and every tower gets better. And I just, I keep sending pictures off to everybody. And my sister just got one. She loves hers. And it's just a real conversation piece.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And I wanted to show you guys my tower here in person. I've got quite a few different things growing on here, including cucumbers inside. I don't know if you guys can see that little cucumber, but there's about 6 of them on here. And it's just kind of attaching itself to the plant above it and holding on, which is kind of funny. This is celery, a lot of Swiss chard, basil, dill. This is lettuce. I have some tomatoes. We'll see if they work. And then back here, this is a pepper plant. And so some more Swiss chard. And I'm going to be leaving out of town. This is chives tomorrow. So I thought I would plant some seeds in here. And then when I get back in a couple of weeks, I'll have sprouts and new babies coming along for some more lettuce. Like she said, it lasts, about 5 or 6 months, and then you have to take those plants out. So I have a couple of empty spots that I want to plant some seeds, but the nutrients are in this tank here in the bottom. Again, no soil, and it has a water right now. It's on, so you guys can hear that. It's on a timer right here for the lights, and then plugged in for that water, and then it runs for every 45 minutes for 15 minutes, and you just get these really nutritious greens. You can put them in smoothies and salads, cook with them, and they just have a really robust flavor to them. So I'm not really a big garden person. I've tried outside and I just don't get much yield from those gardens, and I get a ton from this. This is my 10th year growing with the Tower Garden, and I just really absolutely love the produce that I get from that. So it's an easy way to grow and not have to worry about weeds and the weather and bugs and that sort of thing. So if that's something of interest to you, just let us know. The same, we would be able to send you some videos and learn a little bit more about that. But really, we invite you to join us. This was something that was really important to me. It was like the more I was learning, I was thinking of other people. And we moved to this new town, and I met a mom of my girl's friend. We went to her birthday party, and she asked me, "What do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I help families simplify their nutrition." And that's kind of all that was said. She didn't really ask any questions. But just a week later, her mom had a massive stroke, and she just realized we need to do something. We're all not doing well. She was wanting to get more nutrition into her mom's diet. So she started taking Juice Plus, shared it with her friend Amber. And then Amber invited us to go to the coffee shop and meet her mom, Kim, and her husband, and Kim's husband, Dale, and share our story with her and just share this message. And so that's how I met Kim. And it was through this community of people sharing something that had worked so well for them and what they wanted other people to learn what they were learning. So Kim, can you share with us what has been the impact with you and these plant powders? How has this impacted your life?
Sure. Thank you, Stacy. And I just want to say thank you so much for opening this up to us and sharing your knowledge with us with the company and through the products and all of that. It's been such a gift for our family. About 5 years ago, as you said, yes, Amber invited us to meet you and Stephanie. And I just thank God every day that Dale was with us or with me, because if he hadn't been, I don't know if I could have remembered what was going on. I was living in a deep fog every day. I had absolutely no energy. I lived for a nap. We were babysitting our 18-month-old granddaughter, and I could not focus on her, give her any kind of help that she needed. She was 18 months old. And, at that time, they're wanting to do their ABCs and their 1, 2, 3s and learn all of the little nursery rhymes and all of that stuff. And all I wanted to do was sit her in front of the TV or the computer screen so that she could watch her little shows. And I just felt so bad about that. But I didn't have any energy. I couldn't move throughout the day. I was forgetting things. I just felt like I had no hope and no purpose. So the next morning, when we were on our daily walk, we were discussing everything that Stacy had shared with us. And as we walked into our brick and mortar store, I told my husband, Dale, I said, if we don't do this, tomorrow, Jennifer, our daughter, has to find a babysitter. I cannot watch Olivia any longer. And it just crushed me. So anyway, he immediately picked up the phone, called our daughter Amber, and said, get us on all of it. We want the fruit, veggie, berry, and the omegas. And we have been on that quad for 5 years every day. I will not be off of it ever. About 60 days after we started taking the products, my whole life had changed. The fog was gone. I was laughing and joking and having, conversations with people. I actually wanted to be at the store with our customers and help them out. And it was so much easier for me to be with our granddaughter and to help her with what, she wanted to be doing during the day. And since then, I have had many other benefits. I'm 61 years old. I am not on any kind of medication. The doctors previously had wanted to put me on cholesterol medication. They had diagnosed me as pre-diabetic because of my weight. I no longer have that. My A1C's come back in a great number. My cholesterol is right where it should be all the time. And I have energy. I now work full-time at another job. And just living life. We won't get off of it. I totally believe that these products saved my life.
Now, I agree, Kim, because I saw you come back to life. That was really amazing. Tell us about drinking the shake every day. That's something that you guys have both gotten into a routine with, right?
Yes, I have a shake every morning. And so does my husband. I add a few different things to mine than what he does to his. And that's something that you will just kind of learn as you go along. Your body starts craving what it needs because it's needing to repair itself. I decided that because of some issues that I was having personally, but also my sister, my older sister, we found out about a year ago that she had been diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. And so I had already decided that I wasn't going to have the colonoscopy that they had told me that I needed to have or that I should have. And I thought, no, I don't need to do that. So I went ahead and got that done. And the doctor told me, he said, I want you on Metamucil from now on every day. And I told myself, I said, I'm not going to put those chemicals in my body. I'm just not going to do it. So I've upped some product into my shake that helps with that. And then for lunch, I have a shake nearly every day, put different stuff in it than what I do my breakfast one. And the bloating's gone. People tell me all the time I look like I've dropped more weight. I still weigh exactly what I did before, but I'm just not as puffy as I was. My skin color is better, and I just feel better. I'm more active. I tell people that I'm 61 and they just don't believe it.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you found like putting in almonds and an apple, spinach, things like that to increase the fiber even more into your smoothie. So I just love that, Kim. Your story is such an encouragement to me. And one of the things you've said before is you were really nutritionally depressed. And I agree
Correct.
with that statement. When I saw you, I just wasn't even sure if you were able to absorb the information I was sharing, much less,
I didn't.
remember it the next day. And so to see you just a couple of months later, you had really come back to life. And so thank you for sharing that with us. And with that, I just want to ask you, for those of you that are still here with us, who in your life can we share this gift of hope with? I know immediately I started thinking of my parents. I wanted to share with them, my in-laws, my sister. I had a couple of friends that I knew had picky eaters for kids. And I just thought they need to know about this. They need to know about this hope and this option. And I was just really thankful that somebody had shared with me. And so I just encourage you, think about who that is, get with the person that invited you here today, and let's share this information with as many people as we possibly can, because it's a timely message of hope that so many need to hear. And so many of us are just very thankful that someone shared that with us. So I'm going to stop the share here and stop the recording as well.